All right, New York Jets football is only 1 week away. We're going to talk about all of it right now, what to expect week one. So let's get fired up. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel while you're here. It's going to be an exciting week next week for us as we face off against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before I get into that, yes, there was a Florida State game today, and yes, they won. Uh, Beat Alabama. I absolutely hate Alabama for a number of reasons. Uh, the best part of the whole thing is after them putting in all the effort remodeling the stadium, it looked amazing. The end of the game, every single fan jumped the fence and rushed the field, and seeing all the fans on the field like that, it got me so fired up. And I'm thinking, what better way to start a season than with a win? And that's what I'm looking forward to next week with our New York Jets. Like, I'm really excited for this game. Um, During the off season, there were some questions. You know, we didn't add a defensive tackle in the draft. We could use another tight end. Well, we added two defensive tackles. We've added a tight end. I'm really excited about Briggs and about Harrison Phillips. I think Harrison Phillips is going to be a great player for us. My only thought is how much practice time have they really had with the team? Are these new additions going to make an impact early in the season, particularly this week coming up? That's the biggest question right now that is on my mind. I love the players that we've added. It's just a matter of how quickly can they get up to speed, how quickly that can they get acclimated, learn the playbook. So I'm going to be curious to see how that works out. But man, I'll tell you what. Like I was saying, there's nothing better than starting the football season with a win. And man, I'm telling you what. So many people were saying like, "Oh, I bet Aaron Rodgers is going to go someplace and play great next year," and blah blah. You know what? I think Aaron Rodgers will have a decent year this year. But one thing that I saw with my own two eyes, Aaron Rodgers, he can't move anymore. He can't extend plays. He is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. And so I'm looking for our defense, our front seven in particular, to really, really get after his ass in that game. Uh, I think McDonald and JJ and Quinnen, I think those guys are going to terrorize Rodgers all day long, and I cannot wait to see it. Uh, the strength, I think, of this New York Jets defense is going to be our secondary. Brandon Stevens, the Ravens fans couldn't wait to get rid of him. Well, guess what? I'm glad they did because he's looked really good here. And let this be a lesson to all the, so-called experts out there. You know, Fantasy football people do this all the time. A guy's really good on one team and he goes to another team and they assume that he's still going to be that same guy. But man, you've got to really look at the specifics. Like if a guy is a really good man corner and then he goes to a team that plays primarily zone, he's probably not going to look the same. And I think that was a lot of the problem with Stevens. So, being in a heavy press man system, I think is going to fit his skill set. Uh, Aaron Glenn said that in the beginning. I think he fits the style of football that we want to play. And so far, it looks like he was right. Looks like he was right on a lot of things. All the experts thought that Arian Smith was no good. Yeah, I know he had some drops last year in college, but so far he's looked really good this year. So credit to the coach, man. It looks like he's identified some really good players for us. And if any of you guys, you hear me call into Jake Asman, you hear me call into Nick Shine, you hear me call in, there's something that I say a lot. And no, I don't mean at any rate, but I do say that a lot. Uh, but if you've heard my calls, one thing that I always say is I can't wait. And this year in particular, it's true. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this season of Jets football to start. I was, a firm believer in Aaron Glenn before we even hired him. Like as soon as we started looking for a coach, that was my guy. Uh, I believe in Aaron Glenn. I remember him as a player, and people talking about the way that he interacts with the media. Dude, that's the way he talked back then. Like he's always been this same guy. He's going to tell you like it is, period, whether you like it or not. And I knew what we were getting. I followed his career very closely. So that, it wasn't just because he was a former Jets player that I wanted them to hire him. There was a lot to it. And dude, I think we got the right guy for the job. And Lord knows it's been a long wait. We've had quite a few missteps along the way, but I think we finally have the right coach. And I think that winning Jets football is back. And, I don't want to keep talking about Florida State because this is a Jets show, but watching them today, run the ball, control the clock. They got the dual threat quarterback. Play defense, run the ball. That'll open up things and take your shots when they're there. Philosophy wise, I see a lot of similarities between the way that they played today and the way the Jets want to play this season. And dude, to me, like that's Jets football. Like when I became a fan, that was the style we played. We had Mo Lewis and Victor Green and Aaron Glenn, and then later John Abraham and Sean Ellis and Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawai. It was run the ball, play good defense. And to me, that's Jets football. And back then we were a winning team. And then, you know, we had a little bit of downtime, but then Rex Ryan came along. And when Rex Ryan was here, it was run the ball, play good defense. And you know what? We were a winning team. And now, finally, I think we've gotten back to that. I think the Jets have finally gotten in touch with their identity. No more of this clown show, no more of this bullshit, and it's been so nice this off season. When we talk about the Jets, we're just talking about football. We're not talking about all this nonsense. You know, meanwhile, Mekhi Becton is not paying his child support and crapping his pants and who knows what else. And it's nice to have somebody else be the clown show for a change and not us. When it comes to the New York Jets this year, it is all football all day. And you know what? The New York Jets, we're going to stand on business this year. So, I'm just looking so forward to this season. I think it's going to be a great season for us. And, don't get me wrong. I'm not predicting playoffs. I'm not predicting 14 wins, but I think we're going to see a different level of effort. I think we're going to have a different level of commitment from these players. I don't think we're going to see a lot of the stupid penalties that we've seen in the past and a lot of the bonehead plays that we have. And you know what? We're not going to win every game, but I think we're going to be in every game. I think we're going to compete every game, week in and week out. And I think we're gonna win a fair amount of games. I think we're gonna win more games than people think we are. I think we're gonna shock some people. And like I've said, man, like winning Jets football is back and it starts here. And this year, I kind of look at this year as a building block for us. It's you can't run until you learn how to walk. And we're going to be taking those first steps this year. This new coaching staff, I like the attitude and the mentality that they've brought to the team. Um, Listening to Leger Douzable had an interview with Quincy Williams that God, I guess I saw it late last night, and I reposted it in Discord. And just listening to Quincy talk, and he talks about AG, and he's like, man, he's intense, and he just brings the energy like every day. Not only is he like a straight shooter, and he's going to tell you how it is, but he just brings that energy. And he talks about like even at practice, he goes around to all the different groups, and he makes sure that energy level is high all the time. And you know what? AG hasn't come around to my group, but the energy level is high here. Everything is high here, for that matter. But man, I haven't been this excited for a Jets season to start in a long time, and I can't wait to see what this looks like. I mean, we got a little bit of an idea in the preseason, but we didn't get to see our starters that much. But from what we did see, I liked the way that Engstrom was, kind of scheming people open. I liked the different motion and stuff that he had. Like when Rogers was here, there wasn't any pre-snap motion, which to me is weird for like a guy that wants to diagnose what the defense is doing. Like I would think you would want that motion to be able to see, are they in man, are they not? But I guess Rogers is just so smart that he doesn't need the motion. He can figure it out because he's seen everything. Uh, but whatever, they can deal with that. Um, I'm glad that's not our issue anymore. And once again, man, I am looking so forward to this season. I want to take a moment to thank everybody. Mike D's Nuts, J Quest, Stack, Valerie, Rich, Nate, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate you taking the time out to tune in and listen to me. uh, I'm in rough shape. But you guys can thank FSU for this show tonight, because I'll tell you what, I was dead beat. I've been working on the studio, which you can't see, but I'm actually in my studio for the first time tonight. I finally got all the repairs done and got it all put together, and I kind of ran out of gas at last moment, so you can't see it on camera, but I mean, I've still got like boxes of screws and stuff over here, and I haven't, hung pictures on the walls, and finished the aesthetics of the room yet, so to speak. But the repairs are done. It's fully functional, and I'm happy to be in my environment. Finally, it's been a long wait, but worked all night the other night, and then after working all night, came home and worked outside another 5 hours, cutting wood, painting, and getting stuff ready, and it ended up with like a mild, I think, case of heat stroke, but I actually made myself sick, and I was just not feeling real good. Kept telling my wife, I think I'm gonna lay down for a while before I do my show tonight. And then the Florida State game started. And I got so into it, and even when we were, way ahead, like going into the fourth quarter, like I was like, "Oh man, I'm probably gonna at least lay down for a little while," but I just could. The game got me so fired up, and then when that game ended, and all the fans just rushed the field, and there's like 60,000 people on the field jumping up and down and partying all around the team, and there's not a single person in the seats. Like it just got me so fired up that like I'm like that I couldn't sleep now if I wanted to. So thank you to Mike Norvell and Florida State for giving me a kick in the ass and an energy boost and getting me primed up and ready to do my thing tonight. So yeah, man. It turned out to be a really good day. And apologies, guys, my voice is kind of starting to go a little bit. But you know what? Uh, it wasn't a Joe Willie guarantee, but the quarterback said Nick Saban isn't here to save him anymore. The Alabama people got pissed off. They hated it. And today they were going to make us pay for those comments, and it didn't happen. So, um, you know what? That guy said what he had to say, and he stood on business. And I said I was doing a show tonight at 8, and here I am. I'm going to stand on business too. And just like Aaron Glenn said, we're the New York Jets. We're built for this shit. Well, guess what? I'm Rickie New York, and I'm built for this shit. And I'm going to be right here with you guys every week, all year long. Uh, I'll be here, before and after every game. And man, I think we're in store for a really fun season. I think we're going to have an exciting team. And like I said, we may not win every game, but you know what? These games are going to be fun to watch. I think we're going to have some exciting games. And Justin Fields, he's never going to be Joe Burrow. We all know that. Okay. But I think Justin Fields is going to be probably the most entertaining Jets quarterback we've had in a while, if nothing else. And so I'm looking really forward to this year, man. I think it's going to be exciting. And the main thing is with Aaron Glenn as a coach, we might get beat, but we're not going to beat ourselves. I think the days of that shit happening are over with. You know, we may get beat, but we're not going to get beat by the Jets. We're not going to beat ourselves anymore. We're no longer going to be our own worst enemy. And that'll be nice. That'll be a nice change. In the past, it seems like we figured out a way to lose games. Well, now we're going to figure out a way to win games. So, with that being said, let me bring on a caller, and it is Hep. How you doing, man?
Hey Ricky, I heard about Connor Hughes talking about G Dub playing mostly in the slot, and at first I was like, that's kind of odd, but then I thought about it, and I said he really flourished in the slot, back in college, and what it does is it does the sidelines doesn't take him out of that position. He has control of the whole field. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing one side or
Yep.
the other, that the sideline that kind of like knocks out a whole part of your game, depending on which side you're on. So him playing in the slot also it brings him closer to the ball, which means we're probably going to be getting a lot of quick passes. And if teams try
Yeah,
to
there.
if teams try to blitz on us, then forget about the yaks. Then he should have a lot of yaks after that. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other thing is that say we're playing a team who has a coach like Sala that doesn't let his number one corner travel. I'll
All
take Garrett
right.
Wilson against the team's number three corner any day of the week, man. Let me tell you what. Garrett gives number one corners fits. I'll take him against the number three guy any day, any
Yeah.
day. But
Definitely.
but yeah, I think there will be a lot of little quick passes like that, slants and stuff, which is fine. Get the ball out of Fields' hands quick. Don't make him hold on to it. Don't make him think too much, and
Yeah.
that's a solid strategy. So,
Well,
but
I mean,
honestly, now
yeah.
I think Garrett will be primarily in the slot, but I guarantee you they're probably going to move him
Oh
all
yeah,
over the
yeah,
place.
yeah. They'll move them all over. I'm sure too. But that was really, I was kind of shocked about that one. But anyway, I really hope that we get off to a good start. I mean, Green Bean's been like the worst bad luck going on. He hasn't seen a winning team since 2015, and to put the cherry on the cake, he hasn't seen an offensive touchdown since 2015. So he's going
That's
he's going to
that's
Pittsburgh.
awful,
Okay?
man.
Yeah, he's going to the Pittsburgh game, and he's gonna walk into the stadium backwards. Just chaos is gonna help him walk to his seat totally backwards to break the curse.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do what I can to help him break that curse too. Uh, the strange thing is that the games that I've been to, for the most part, it have been good luck for me. Like,
Yeah,
it
me too.
seems
I've
like
been
we've
lucky.
we've won.
Yeah.
When I was in New York, when I lived in New York, I think I only went to one game where we lost. You know, uh, there was a game I went to where oh God, who was it? Jeremy Curley had like a couple of touchdowns in that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I believe that was opening day against Buffalo. That was like 2012. Uh, but yeah, most of the games, I went to even here in Tampa. There was a game where it was when Rex was the coach and Sanchez was hurt, and we ended up with Kellen Clements. It was the end of the year,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was like, "Oh man, this is going to be rough." And we ended up dog walking the Bucks. Like it was so
Yeah.
bad. Like by halftime, all the Buccaneer fans had left the stadiums, and all the Jets fans kind of flowed down closer to the field. And dude, they were like doing the Jets chant. When you rewatched
Oh
it on
wow.
TV, you could hear the Jets chant, and it was an away game. So it was
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Now, the jinx with me is if I drive a long way to go, because I've driven to Jacksonville, I've driven to Miami, and we
Oh,
freaking lose.
well then stay
Dude,
put.
there's nothing worse than like driving 4 or 5 hours to
Oh
watch your
no.
team lose and then have to drive back. Like so, so
No, no,
that's my curse. Is like, if I can fly out of town and go to a game or go a short distance to a game, we're all good. If I drive more than 3 hours, bad sign. So
all right.
I'm not doing
Stay
that.
home, Ricky. Stay home this year.
All right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. The only
I
game
think
I'm
Paul
going to is Tampa, and that'll take me 20 minutes. So we're all
yeah.
good.
I think Paul is doing Boy Green is doing a play by play on the Pittsburgh game. So that might be fun to listen to. He's doing call ins and stuff as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did not realize that. I know that they're doing like a group outing thing for the Dallas game, but I did not realize they were doing a play by play.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm going to the
now I know
Dallas
I
game.
Oh, are
We're
you
going. Yeah,
awesome?
yeah, we're going to the it's a whole big. Everybody's going to that game, and um, to the Dallas game. Uh, but he's doing a play by play at home. So you could. What I do is I turn the sound down on the TV and I listen to him talk. Do the thing, and then people call in and they go, "Did you believe that call? That sucked." Da, 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 da. Kind of like what Green
Right.
Bean does. Only he does the play by play.
Right. Now, I haven't seen I haven't seen Boy Green do one of those, and
Yeah,
I don't know for a fact if they're going to be doing it in season or not, but I know during the preseason Nick Shine was doing that where
yeah.
him
Nick
and
was
Dylan
doing it
Caraman
too.
were on. And
Yeah, they were doing that too. I know, and Chaos and Green Bean have been doing it for a couple of years now, but they'll be at the game on and the Pittsburgh game, so they won't be able to do it then.
right, right. You know what? That's a good point. I'm going to have to ask Nick if they're going to do that for the regular season games or not. Uh because I like Dylan. Dylan was my very first guest that I had on this show
Yeah, I saw
when
that
I
show.
first
That was a
started
good one.
doing shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
and man, I have such a good time talking to him and talking ball with him. He's got some really good insights, and so I
Yeah.
really enjoyed listening to him and Nick when they were doing that. And
Well, you
I'll
can
probably
jump
have Dylan
around.
back on it. Yeah,
Yeah, you can
I'll
jump
probably have
around even. Yeah.
I'll probably have him back on at some point. But the time that he did my show, like after the show was over, like I ended the show and I was sitting there and I could still see Dylan sitting there on camera, like he hadn't turned his camera off, and I was like, dude, we're done, and he was like, oh okay, he was like, I wasn't sure, but like then me and him started talking, and I was talking about like, oh, I used to go through this when I was making, some of the pre-recorded videos,
Oh,
and he
sure.
was like, oh man, that that I go through that same thing, and so talking to somebody else and
Fellow
hearing that,
content creators. Yeah.
yeah, and knowing that I wasn't the only one going through some of the things I was going through, it was nice, and we were able to talk for. I mean, dude, I think we probably sat and talked for like another 45 minutes after the show was over, but
Oh, that's right.
it was awesome, man, and he's a great kid, man, and so smart, and really
Yeah.
brings a lot to the table. So I really enjoyed having him, and we'll try to get him back on soon.
Yeah, that was a
And
great show.
yeah, I've been holding off on having any guests. I've had a few different people that said they'd come on. Uh, Green Bean is going to come on at some point.
Oh, nice.
Um, Ryan from the Jets board is going to come on. Dylan will
Right.
come back on. I've got a few people, and I've asked Jake about coming on as well, as long as
Mm.
scheduling turns out to not be a problem.
Yeah.
That
Boy
should be
Green should
coming
probably
up.
come on. Boy Green will probably come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
Boy Green. Now Nick is going to be a tough one. I definitely want to get Nick on the show, but
He's a
with
late
our
night guy.
schedule,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's really rough. But we'll figure out a day. We'll figure out a
You'll
day
figure it out.
when he's got a little bit of time and he either doesn't have the work or doesn't have the kids, and if he can just squeeze in an hour or so, we'll get him on here at some point. But yeah, I've been holding all that off, but I want to say the date is I'm doing a show Tuesday, September 9th, I believe it is, right after the Pittsburgh game.
Right.
And fingers crossed, with any luck, Jake will be on that night. I've already asked him about it, and he said it shouldn't be a problem, but remind him when we get closer. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And with any luck, we'll have Jake on here for the after the Pittsburgh show.
I look
So
forward to
I'm
it.
looking forward. Yeah, I
Reach
didn't
out.
want to burn through. Yeah, take it easy. Appreciate it as always, Hep. And
Okay, Ricky.
man,
I'll see you
yeah,
at the
thanks,
rebound.
thanks. Yeah, thanks for the support. And
Sure.
we'll have more good stuff coming up for you.
Okay, buddy.
All right, man. Have a good night. All right. So, well, I guess there's going to be a few channels doing play by play for the season. That I did not know. That's interesting. Me personally, I will not be doing a play by play or watch along during the season because you know I can get a bit out of hand when the game is on. Let's just say that. And not that I expect to do a bunch of yelling and shouting and cussing and carrying on like I normally do. However, I do plan on doing a hell of a lot of celebrating and hell raising and having a good time as I celebrate some New York Jet wins. And I don't want to get my channel taken down. Some of what I'm doing probably would not be appropriate viewing for everyone. So we'll just leave it at that. Uh, yeah, Jets start winning some football games, and I am to be out of control. And I'm looking forward to it. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So, uh, yeah, man. Like, I mean, right now, I haven't had a chance to cover this because as you guys know, I kind of took a little bit of time off. I took a week off and I didn't do any shows last week because I was going to finish working on the studio and try to get it all ready for the season, which I did barely, just in the nick of time. But I finally got it all done, and it's all good. So the studio is done; it's ready to roll. I still have to put the cherry on top. A few finishing touches here and there, but it's up and ready for the season. As I was saying to Hep, I got some good guests lined up, and I decided to wait until the actual game started. Like I thought about it, and I was like, man, why have guests on where we're just speculating on what could happen, or you know who might get cut on cut down day, or which all those are important things. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted to save my guests until we had actual games to talk about. Did we win? Did we not? What did we do right? What did we do wrong? And really get into the meat and potatoes of the whole thing and be able to break down actual games and give you guys some content of substance. So I've decided to hold off on any guests until then. But like I said, if everything works out, hopefully I'll be able to have Jake on the 9th, and I'll be probably having a weekly guest after that each week of the season as we go along. MC Mays, I see you in the chat. Good to see you, man. Adirondack flying guy. Adirondack fly guy. I usually don't get tongue tied like that. Appreciate all you guys, man. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for helping it grow. Yeah, I appreciate every one of y'all. I can't say that enough. Uh, Anybody who's watching, if you haven't been here before, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We will have much more content coming. And man, I'll tell you what, this is like, what's a good way to put this? Like, you know, this is one of the last shows like this. After this, the gloves come off. After this, it's going to be for real. Uh, you know, from here on out, every game counts. And I just think that we're going to see such a different Jets team than we've seen the past couple of years. I mean, you know, listening to the players talk about how the vibe feels different, the energy feels different in the building. Uh, these guys are bought in. And I mean, when you listen to Garrett, when you listen to Brees, when you listen to Sauce, when you listen to those guys talk, they're all happy to be Jets. They want to be Jets. They want to be here. They want to help turn this thing around. However, you never really heard them talk about Saleh like, dude, Robert Saleh's my guy. Like that's my coach. He's our leader, and we're gonna follow him. I mean, like they didn't talk about him that way. They didn't rally around him that way. And so just the fact that AG seems to have all these guys so bought in already, and we haven't even played an actual game yet, to me is a good sign. And he said, Rich, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm slacking a little bit tonight on the comments. But you're right, Rich. Aaron Rodgers is going to be running for his life. And I think this Jets defense is really going to get after some people. I was saying that before. I think the secondary is going to be probably the best unit on this entire team. Uh, from Brandon Stevens to Sauce to Michael Carter, AZ Thomas, Cisco. I mean, our secondary is going to be for real. And so I'm really looking forward to this season. When you've got a secondary that can just shut guys down and lock receivers down the way that I think our guys are going to be able to, it's going to make the quarterback hold the ball longer. allow the pass rush to get home. And I think that our pass rushers are going to have a big year this year. JJ and Will McDonald. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring up uh, while I'm on the topic. Dude, pass rush is going to be serious this year. It's going to be so nice to have Jermaine back. And there was people saying like, "Oh, we should temper our expectations. I don't know how much we should expect from JJ right away." Yes, I understand he's coming off an injury, but let me tell you something about Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson is as a player like AG is as a coach. If he says something, I believe it. Like when Jermaine Johnson was, tweeting like I'm 100% now. I'm ready to go now. The coaches are being careful with me, but I could play today. Like I believed him. I didn't think he was just saying it. I didn't think he was just talking. Like because that's not who he is. Like if he says something, I believe it. Like, he was that way at Florida State. He's been that way since he's been with the Jets. And he's a leader. He's a leader for these young guys. And dude, I'll tell you what. I think Jermaine Johnson is going to have a monster season this year. Uh, some people might expect him not to be, 100% coming right out of the gate. I do. I do. I think we're going to see, Jermaine Johnson just like he was before the injury. Like I remember when we played that game against Cleveland, which most people all they remember is Cleveland's tight end, gave us fits in that game, and they didn't seem to have an answer for him, dude. Anybody mentions the Cleveland game to me, the first thing I think of is Jermaine deflecting that ball up in the air and then picking it himself and running it in for a touchdown. Because I remember a play like that in college that he made against Clemson, where he just like started inside and then went to the outside on the guy and came around the edge like he was shot out of a cannon, got the sack, knocked the ball loose, scooped it up himself, and ran it in for a touchdown. So he got the sack, got the strip, scooped it, and scored. Uh, did it all himself. And, it wasn't an interception like the Browns game, but dude, I've seen him do that kind of shit. And I know what that guy is capable of. And I mean, you know what? Aaron Glenn said about Michael Clemens, like, he's built like a football player. If you were going to build a football player in a lab, that's the kind of body you would build. Dude, you know what? Jermaine Johnson is built like a football player. That's a big old boy. Okay. And I'm not just saying that because I'm 5'8" and a buck 50 soaking wet. By football player standards, Jermaine is the big boy and he is all muscle. And let me tell you what, man, I think he is going to have an outstanding year for us. I think a lot of our guys are going to have good years. And this new defensive philosophy, that they have, it's going to be aggressive. And I think they're going to put players in a position to make plays. And man, it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be a fun season. I just have one question. One. I only have one question. Is there anything that we can possibly do to make next Sunday get here any faster? Because I'm ready for some fucking Jets football right now. Like I'm ready to go right now. And it was awesome, Uh the football is back. College football was on today. Man, it's so nice to have real football games that count to watch again. Uh, but I need now it's like this was a good appetizer, but I'm ready for a meal. You know what I'm saying? Like, And don't get me wrong, I love my Florida State Seminoles, but I love the Jets more. Uh, there is nothing that compares to the Jets for me, and I'm ready for some NFL football now, man. I'm ready for the bullets to start flying. I'm ready for some fireworks. I'm ready for these games to count, man, and I'm ready to watch our guys go out there and just completely unload on somebody. I'm ready to see Aaron Rodgers get his ass handed to him. Uh, you know what? Uh, Mike Tomlin, oh, he hasn't had a losing season and whatever. You know what? Let's let's start him off with an L. Let's start working on that first losing season for Tomlin because I'll tell you what, as a Jets fan, as a fan that had to watch Florida State win only 2 games last year, trust me, I know when you pick a quarterback and you pick the wrong guy, you're screwed. That's all there is to it. Uh, and both of my teams have been down that road. But once again, I think the Jets have gotten in touch with their roots. I think that Aaron Glenn has gotten this team in touch with their roots. I think that he has reminded them what Jets football is, or what it is to me anyway. You run the football, you play good defense. That's it, man. And I know it's a passing league, blah, blah, blah. They've changed the rules so much. You can't touch the quarterback. You can hardly touch a receiver. They want it to be these big explosive plays. But guess what? When you have inclement weather, when it gets rainy, when it gets snowy, when it's cold out, uh, and that ball's as hard as a rock, or it's wet out and that ball's slippery, that shit doesn't work. You know what always works? Running the ball and playing defense. Uh, a run game will travel. A run game is good year round. Dude, running the football, it's like the mailman. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever. That shit don't quit. Hell yeah, Mike D's. Smash mouth football. Absolutely. That's what the Jets were when I became a Jets fan. That's what I got to know as Jets football. I mean, I became a Jets fan basically when Parcells got here, when Curtis Martin got here. And so at the beginning of my Jets fandom, it was like a decade straight of being a damn good team every year. And if we did miss the playoffs, it seemed like 2 years we would be in, 1 year would be out. 2 years in, 1 year out. 3 years in, 1 year. We were always in the postseason. We were always in the conversation. Uh, and I miss that, man. Like I miss those days. But that's what Jets football is about. Like, like, I want to run the ball down people's throat. And yeah, you know, we might not be throwing 80-yard bombs, but guess what? If you can run the ball and get 3 to 3.5 yards every time you run, do that 3 times, it's a first down. Do that half a dozen times, you're in the end zone. Like you keep running 3.5 yards per snap, eventually you're going to be in the end zone. You can make your way down the field that way. And it might not be the most exciting thing, to some people. Me personally, I love it. You know, when I was young, I played running back. And so I've got a kind of a soft spot in my heart for the running back position. Clancy, some of the guys that are in the fantasy league with me, it can tell you my running backs score, ridiculously high compared to some other leagues because to me, like it's nothing for a quarterback to throw 3, 4 touchdowns in a game sometimes. Uh, a really good receiver can catch a couple of touchdowns in a game. A running back, usually you're lucky to get one in a game. And you earn every single yard you get. It doesn't matter if you're running the ball, if you're catching the ball out of the backfield. It doesn't matter if you're staying in to block and it's pass protection. If you're a running back, you're pretty much getting hit every single play that you're on the field, period. And nothing is given to you. Receivers, sometimes they don't get touched. Quarterbacks, sometimes they don't get touched. Running back gets hit every play, whether they're getting the ball or not. So to me, like, dude, the running backs are like the Iron Man of professional sports, period. Like to me, running backs are like the true warriors of the NFL. Like you earn everything you get. So I've just got a ton of respect for guys that are able to do that and do that at a high level. And dude, that's the kind of football I like to see. And the really good running backs, uh, Curtis, or you know, it could be Thomas Jones, it could be LT. Name any number of running backs that we've had here. They may get stopped. It might be, a 2 yard gain here, a 3 yard gain here, a 2 yard gain. But you know what? Eventually, they're going to break one, and they're going to break a long one. Uh, but dude, that's the kind of football I like to watch. I love running the football, and I love good defense. I love me some defense, dude. I love watching people sack the quarterback. I love watching teams blitz. Uh, you know, I like seeing the secondary be able to shut guys down, lock guys down, and pick balls off. Uh, dude, I don't know. Just maybe that's the Jets fan in me, but that's just always the brand of football that I've appreciated, you know. Uh, and to me, that's Jets football. And as I said before, I think that Aaron Glenn has gotten us back in touch with our identity. I think he has reminded these guys what the New York Jets are, what Jets football is. And some of these guys, hell, maybe they weren't reminded, maybe they never knew to begin with. But you know what? He's teaching them and he's showing them, you know what? Uh, Jelani Woods, you came from the Colts. They may have done things different. Uh, Harrison Phillips, you came from Minnesota. Pohl, you came from Kansas City. They may have done something different here, but you know what? We're the New York fucking Jets, and this is the way we do things, and this is the way we're gonna do things. This is the way we're gonna play teams, and this is who we are. And once again, like call me crazy. Maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse, getting ahead of myself, whatever you want to say, but I'm making a prediction right now. My prediction is Jets football, real Jets football, winning Jets football is back. And we've waited a long time for this, but I think we finally have the right coach and the right leadership, and we're back, baby. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait for this season to start. Uh, I see some more people have popped in. Mess. MC Mays, Wild Wave. Good to see all you guys. Thanks for joining me rather. Mike Rubino. Thank you to everyone, man. Like I'm trying to do the show and keep up with the comments at the same time. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. King Jamie, thank you. Appreciate everyone, man. It really, really means a lot to me that you guys take time out of your day to tune in and listen to me rant about the New York Jets. You know what? I put up a post earlier on Twitter today, and it was like this picture of Dexter, and in the background, like in the darkness, you could see another picture of his face, like kind of like the good angel and the bad angel sitting on your shoulder talking to you, and I was like, you know what? I'm just like every other Jets fan. Like that negativity is there. Like I have that voice that's whispering in my ear. I just choose not to listen to it. Yes. Am I terminally optimistic? Yes. Sometimes I am. Okay. Uh, I choose to try to look at the positive, you know, as opposed to focusing on the negative. And, it's been tough. There's been times where it's been really hard to find positives. However, I think that this most recent regime change, credit to Woody Johnson. I think he finally got it right this time. Uh, he didn't listen to Peyton Manning and hire an Adam Gase. He didn't listen to some outside source and make the wrong decision. He didn't hire Robert Saleh just because he was the hottest name on the coaching circuit that year, and that's who you know was the consensus top guy. Uh, he went with what he knows. He knows Aaron Glenn. He knows the type of person he is. He knows the type of leader he is. And so Woody Johnson, I think, credit to him. I think Woody Johnson finally got back in touch with his own roots. I think Woody had to get back in touch with the Jets' identity. I think Woody Johnson, upon talking to Aaron Glenn, I think maybe Aaron Glenn reminded him what Jets football is supposed to look like. And we all get on Woody a lot of times. You say, oh, Woody meddles this and that. Dude, he gave Joe Douglas 6 fucking years. The guy who promised in year one to fix our offensive line, the guy who was supposed to put weapons around Sam Darnold, he gave him a lot of time. And, it's like that saying, you give a guy too much rope and he ends up hanging himself with it. And I think that's what happened with them. So yeah, I think we got the right leadership and we're headed in the right direction. Eli, what do you think, man? You think the Jets football is back? The real Jets football?
We're back, baby. Aaron Glenn is here. His message is clear, and yeah, we're back. This is a new era. I'm excited, and how can you not be excited? He said everything that we need to hear. Offense looks decent. We'll see how Justin Fields does. We'll see how the running game does. But between 4 and 6 wins is where I'm at right now, Ricky. And after the Green Bay game, I said maybe 7 or 8, but kind of came back down to earth. So I don't know. Um, I don't know where you're
Yeah,
at. I haven't been watching, but that's kind of where I'm at, Ricky. I'm just hoping we do well enough to compete, but bad enough to get a good enough draft pick to not have to trade the whole entire future. So yeah.
yeah, I think that me personally, I got the win total just a little bit higher than you do. But if Fields turns out to not be the guy, say things go maybe not drastically wrong, but things don't go as well as we're hoping. I don't think that we're going to be, so far back that we couldn't get a quarterback without mortgaging the whole future. I think that, if things do go bad for us, I think, even if we're picking like, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in the low teens, I think we'll be able to afford to trade up to get a guy. And there's going to be some good ones that come out next year. But me
I'm hope.
personally, like, even though I'm not the biggest Fields believer in the world, like, I sit back and I go, you know what? A lot of the defensive personnel is still the same. Our running game should be good again. Like, we won 7 games with Zach Wilson, and he sucks. So, like, so that's kind of my thinking there. Like, I think we should at least be able to win 7 games with Justin Fields. So right now, I'm thinking like 6 or 7 is the floor, and probably about 9 is the absolute ceiling. So I'm not far off from where you're at. I'm kind of in swimming in them same waters.
Well, you forgot to mention not only was Zach Wilson trash, but the whole offense, actually the whole offense was trash. And the whole when he said that it wasn't on him when we lost the Patriots game, that's when he lost all respect. He lost New York's respect. He lost this whole team's respect, and that was it, man. I'm just hoping. I don't know the statistics, but I'm pretty sure first time head coaches for the Jets don't fare well in their first game, at least. I don't know. You'd have to double check me, but I, I don't know, Ricky. I'm just
Well,
I'm just I'm just tired. I'm just tired of always being middle of the pack, telling us and hearing that we're 1 year away or one quarterback away. It's always the same stuff. We've been rebuilding since 68, 69. A lot of the fans are losing patience, and it's tough. It's really tough to root for this team, especially when we sign people like Aaron Rodgers and we think that we're there, and then we just completely fumble. And I know the first season wasn't on necessarily his fault because he tore his Achilles, but that second season, it felt like we were ready for redemption, and to be let down like that, and to have a number 10 pick, it's
yep.
like we can't. It seems like we can't do anything right. We can't lose right. We can't win right. It's just this never-ending cycle. And I love the Jets. I don't want to bash them because they mean so much to me, and I'll root for this team no matter what. But at some point, man,
Well,
we got to stop putting out sick jerseys like the Rivals Week jerseys, and to distract fans from
yeah.
the fact that we're going to be miss the playoffs.
I purposely avoided that one because I'm not really a real big fan of the rivalry jerseys. But if it makes you feel any better, Rex Ryan, AFC Championship his first year, but Herm Edwards winning season his first year, Todd Bowles winning
Okay.
season his first year.
Okay.
So first time head coaches don't always fare bad. Like we've actually had some winning seasons with first time head coaches. So the other thing is that, like, I've said this on Jake's show, I've said this numerous times. Like, Robert Saleh, he might have been a student of the game. Aaron Glenn, he played the fucking game at the highest level. Like that dude knows ball, and I think that's going to make all the difference because even though the players, we could pick on Zach, we could pick on whoever. Like, I actually put up a post earlier on Twitter bashing Mekhi Becton. Dude, I mean, in under 5 minutes, I probably had 30 responses. I don't think I've ever got that many responses to anything I've ever posted. And I was like, damn, the Jets fans really hate Mekhi Becton. But you know what? As the year went on last year, it became really obvious that one of our biggest deficiencies was coaching. And, whether it was not allowing Sauce to travel, not making in-game adjustments, and dude, just being married to his system where he wasn't flexible at all. Like, sometimes you have to adjust on the fly. If what you're doing ain't working, like, why do you keep doing it? Uh, we've got a real coach now that knows the game inside and out, and I think that's going to make all the difference in the world for us. So
I'm
chin
hoping
up,
so,
man.
Ricky.
Yeah, chin up, man. Be positive. Real Jets football is back. We've got our identity back. We're back, baby. And A week and a half from now, call back in, and we're going to be celebrating right here together. Great call, man. I haven't talked to you before, but appreciate you calling in, man. Great call. Okay, don't be
Ricky,
a
this is
stranger.
you're the first show I've called into. Right now I'm at a my church is hosting a festival right now, and
Nice.
maybe I had one or two extra beers. So you know, I just thought I'd call in because I just wanted to get that off my chest. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. Um, but that's where I'm at. I'm not expecting too much, but I'm not expecting too little. But I also want to give you a shout out for doing what you're doing. I want to say keep up the great work, and I will be purchasing some Rivals Week attire. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm on board with it. So, um, but keep up the great work, Ricky, and I'll tune in. I'll tune in here when I can. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling
Yes, sir.
in. Have a good night, man. Awesome, awesome. Eli Betts calling in my show. I'm flattered. Like this is the first show you called into, and it's me. Uh, and that's awesome. And appreciate you so much. Have a good time. I'm not going to hold it in against you that you had a few beers, man. College football is back today. I'm sure there's a lot of people celebrating, myself included. This Seminole, me smoke a much peace pipe today. However, I am still here doing the show for you guys. But yeah, great call from Eli. Uh, hopefully, he'll keep on calling in. And I get it, man. Like I don't expect every Jets fan to be bought in. And there's some people that it probably wouldn't matter what we did, they're not going to believe it. And there's a lot of people that say, I'll believe it when I see it. And I get it. Like, there's been so many times last year, the year before, that we get all invested and we're all in and we think this is it. This is finally the year, only to be let down again. And so I understand it. I understand the hesitancy. However, even if you're not all on board the AG train like I am, even if you're not 100% bought in, just don't write this team off before we even start playing games. Okay. This is different. Uh, it feels different to me. It seems different to me. Listening to the players, listening to the insiders who have gone and actually watched the practices, it feels different, man. Like like there's something different about this season. And I honestly, truly believe in my heart, like I said, that real Jets football, winning Jets football is back. Like we're back, baby. We found our identity. We got back in touch with who we're supposed to be. And so I'm just so stoked for this year. I can't wait for the games to start. I know I always say that, can't wait. But it's true. And with college football starting today, like now I'm like literally on the edge of my seat. Like I can't wait for this thing to get rolling. But here it is Saturday. We got a football game Thursday night. We're going to have football this week. In less than a week, there's going to be NFL games to watch. And this Jets game, like, I'll tell you what, I worked that night. So the night of the Jets' first game, I have to be at work at 6 o'clock at night and work until 6 in the morning. And knowing them, they'll probably keep me longer than that because it seems like I end up being there 13 to 14 hours every time I work instead of the 12 I'm scheduled for. But I'll tell you what, you bet your ass that I will be up at 1 o'clock watching that Jets game, and I will drag my sorry ass into work tired as hell on 3 hours sleep and work all night because I'm not going to miss one single minute of this first game. Aaron Glenn has got me so pumped up. Uh, like dude, some of the things that have happened over the last couple of years, like I know that some people say same old Jets, but not to me. Like when I became a fan, we were winning all the time and we were a really good team. And that's what I came to know the Jets as. And so what's been going on for the past over, over a decade now is not Jets football to me. Uh, it's very unjet like. I'm ready to have those years like we had under Parcells, like we had under Herm Edwards in the beginning, like we had under Rex those first 2 years. I'm ready for winning Jets football. And you know what? We're going to shock some people. I don't think we're going to be world beaters. I'm not predicting playoffs, but I really honestly believe that, 7 wins is probably the floor for this team. And anything more than that is a winning season. Anything more than that, and you're above 500. And with a first time coach, first time coordinators, we probably shouldn't be expecting playoffs. But I said it before, I'll say it again, right here, right now. We may not win every game, but we're going to be in every game. We're going to compete in every game. And we might get beat, but we are not going to beat ourselves. And that's probably going to be the biggest change from what we've seen recently to what we're going to see this year is instead of figuring out ways to lose games and ways to fucking blow it and hand a game away to someone, we're going to figure out ways to win, or we're at least going to hang around enough to have the opportunity to win. Now, will they be able to make good on that opportunity? Maybe not all the time, but you know what? There's going to be a lot of times that I think we do. So I fully expect, I'm not going to go so far as to guarantee it, but I fully expect a win in week 1. And you know what? Our first 2 games, let's say Pittsburgh and Buffalo. I think we beat Pittsburgh. Buffalo, they're tough, but you know what? We beat them. Hell, we beat them when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. We beat him with Zach Wilson. Now, it was probably because of an incredible Garrett Wilson catch that would be incredible for any other player, but Garrett Wilson, let's face it, he makes catch like that all the time. And probably the only notable thing that Xavier Gibson has ever done in his career won us that game. That doesn't change the fact that we beat the Bills. We've beat the Bills with Zach Wilson as a quarterback more than once. And I said it earlier in this show. Zach Wilson sucks. So if we can beat the Buffalo Bills more than once with Zach Wilson as a quarterback, why should I not believe that we have a chance to beat them with Justin Fields? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I am just terminally optimistic. But I just honestly, look, Sharon agrees with me. She feels it too. I'm telling you, man, it feels different this year. It just feels different. And that's a good thing. Okay. These are not the same old Jets. These aren't the same old Jets. These aren't the same old coaches that keep doing dumbass shit, even though it's not working. Yeah, I'm not going to say this is a brand new Jets. These aren't the same old Jets. These are the good old Jets from the good old days. The days when we were winning all the time. I think that brand of Jets football is back. Now, can Justin Fields step up and be that guy? Can he take the next step? Can he, with a coach that has made him the unquestioned starter, that is 100% behind him, where Aaron Glenn has said, Fields is our guy. We're going to allow him to play quarterback. Will Fields, with a coordinator that's going to design an offense around him that will play to his strengths, that will put him in the best position to succeed, is he going to be able to elevate his game and be the quarterback we need him to be? Like I said, he's not going to ever be Joe Burrow. He's never going to be Peyton Manning. Uh, but you know what? Neither one of those guys can run like Fields can. And this weird misconception that a lot of Jets fans have that Fields can't pass the ball is absolutely, positively 100% wrong. Dude, Fields has got an arm on him. The truth is, Fields is a very good intermediate to deep ball thrower. Okay. Fields' problem is not a physical problem. It's not him not being able to throw the ball. His problem is processing. It's reading defenses. It's being able to go through his progressions. And in all fairness, when he was in Chicago, they had a trash offensive line. So he wasn't afforded the time to go through all his progressions. In Pittsburgh, I mean, he went 4-2. You know what? As a Jets fan that has gone through what I've gone through, what all of you have gone through these past couple of years, I'll sign up for a 4-2 start right now. Would any of you guys? Would any of you watching sign up for a 4-2 start? I sure as hell would. But even after starting out 4-2, even though he had actually showed a little bit of progress and seemed like he was playing a little bit better, they went away from him anyway because Tomlin had already predetermined that Russell Wilson was going to be his guy. So I think just the fact that Fields doesn't have someone breathing down his back, he knows that Aaron Glenn's not going to pull the rug out from under his feet and suddenly he's going to find himself on the bench. The fact that he's the unquestioned starter, I think, is going to do wonders for his confidence. And I like him. I like Justin Fields as a person. He's so laid back and so even keel. And I think that's a good thing. I'm not worried about him having to get the guys fired up or anything. Like, dude, we've got guys that can be like rah guys if we need them to be. Quincy, Sherwood, Jermaine, those guys will get the defense fired up. A lot of people are down on Tony Adams. I'll tell you what, you go to one of those practices, you can hear Tony Adams chirping all day long. Like, he's one of the most vocal guys out there. Justin Fields doesn't need to be that guy. All he has to do is be himself. What I see when I see Justin Fields and I see like how laid back he is all the time, like what I think is, here's a guy who isn't going to panic when the bullets start flying for real. Here's a guy who's not going to crack under pressure because he just doesn't roll like that, man. Like he doesn't let things get to him. And I think that is going to pay dividends in the long run. I think that calm, that demeanor that he has is going to be an advantage when we do face adversity and when games maybe aren't going the way we planned or we hoped. I think that calm is, like, people always say, like, oh, this guy, he has like an infectious energy, or you hear that people have like an infectious laugh. I think that Justin Fields has an infectious calm, if you will. And I think that calm is going to spread to our other guys when adversity hits. And it's going to help keep everybody from getting too high or too low. So I like Justin Fields' demeanor. I like his approach. It's just going to be a matter of what he does once he gets on the field. So, you know, hopefully, he can take the next step as a passer. Hopefully, with a good offensive line in front of him and a productive running game and some decent weapons around him, things that he hasn't always had thus far in his career. Hopefully, that will give him even more confidence and we'll see him continue to grow. I've said it all along. There's going to be some bumps in the road. This thing ain't going to look perfect from day one. But as long as he's not turning the ball over, as long as he's not making the back-breaking mistakes that Zach Wilson used to make, uh, you know, people can say what they want about Aaron Rodgers. Some people love him. Some people can't stand him. To me, and I've used this analogy before, like Aaron Rodgers is like the high maintenance girlfriend. Like he said all the right things when he first got here. But as time went on, he started favoring Devontae and not giving the ball to Garrett. We had good running plays called that would have worked that he checked out of because he just had to be in control of everything. And as soon as things started happening that he didn't like, boom, he's throwing guys under the bus. Mike Williams with the red line, calling out other guys. And then as soon as Aaron Glenn decided to move on from him, first thing he did, go on McAfee and start talking smack. So, that's the way I look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is great. He's the, most inspirational player the teammates voted him. And yeah, he's great when he's getting his way. As long as he's getting his way, he's fine. As soon as he doesn't get his way, look out, because that's a whole different story. So I don't know. I'm just glad that I don't have to deal with the Aaron Rodgers circus anymore. Uh, you know, I honestly did not think that we could have one player that would come in and cause so much chaos just by things that he says. And you know, like this is like the Tim Tebow effect all over, except Aaron Rodgers actually is a real NFL quarterback. Um, but it's just crazy. I saw something earlier online where Ryan Clark was upset because when he was at the Steelers facility, Aaron Rodgers ignored him. Seriously? For real? Like, dude, Ryan Clark for 2 years has done nothing but use his platform to bash Aaron Rodgers every single chance he got. What did he think was going to happen? Did he think he was going to get an exclusive interview? And Aaron Rodgers isn't our quarterback anymore, so I don't really give a shit. And I don't want to get sidetracked with the Ryan Clark thing, but Ryan Clark is a douchebag. And anyways, I'll just leave it at that. But Jets fans, I think we've got a lot to be excited for this year. Um, I did a show a couple of weeks ago talking about the benefits of having Tyron Smith on the Jets, the benefits that it paid having him here. And I knew that people would read that heading and be like, what the fuck? But even though he was an absolute disaster on the field, when I see Olu Fashanu is like the last guy to leave practice every day, he's out there, working on his footwork, working on his technique after everybody else is gone. Tyron Smith might have been a disaster on the field, but he taught Olu how to prepare. He taught him how to train, how to study film, and how to prepare the way that one of the best would prepare. Because make no mistake, when he was younger, and like we got the old recycled version of Tyron Smith. Like if you think it was bad that we got the old broken down version of Aaron Rodgers, the old broken down ass version of Tyron Smith that we got was way fucking worse. Way worse. But that's the thing. And I like Aaron Glenn's approach. This is a young man's game. I like all the young guys he brought in because too many times that, like, listen, like LaDainian Tomlinson was great when he was here. Brett Favre actually played good here when he was hurt. But dude, I'm tired of going after the big names that are at the end of their careers. Like, if you can't get one of the star player that's in his prime, then it's probably best just you know what? Let's not get the guy who was a star that's at the end of his road. Let's get the young guys who are gonna be a star that are just ready to break out. And I see we have another caller. What's up, man? How you doing today?
We got a lot of key points here tonight, and you're not knocking down with it. It's like, here's the thing that we need to get really serious with. Next Sunday, we go out there. We got to take it to Pittsburgh right away. First quarter, just take our big fist, jam it down their goddamn throat, break every bone in their body, start taking the slams, and start running them over them early. At least jump it. At least 14 first quarter, 14 the next quarter, 28-0 halftime, and then just go for the finish. Knock them out 42-0. That'll be the perfect way to finalize that Aaron Rodgers is no match for our destruction, because look what Aaron Glenn turned us into. He turned us from mush to muscle, and now we're blood hungry for his head. We're ready.
Absolutely, man.
We are ready.
I agree with you 100%. You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see the very first play of the game, because everybody knows we're going to be a run first team. We're going to make our bread and butter running the football. So if I was the Jets, the very first play, I would call play action the very first play. Let them think it's a run and unleash a fucking bomb down the field.
I call that a sneak attack ambush. A nice little ambush. Yep. A little surprise from Braveheart. I remember the one scene very, very clearly when England turned their back on the Irish, the Scottish, they took their arrows with the fire. And what happened? Blaze of fire. That's what we got to do to the Steelers. Counter them and nail them right from behind, like a little bit of an ambush. Expect a knockout blow first quarter. Rodgers will be flat right on his back, and he'll be taken right out. Steelers ain't got no chance. Not this time. This house is not for them. And when they run into us New Yorkers, you know how crazy we are? We're the crazier bastards, because why? We're tougher, we're smarter, and Aaron Glenn turned us around. We got our heads out of our ass this time. Now we're ready to knock some teeth out. And when Aaron Rodgers looks at us, he goes, oh shit, here they come now. Now they really mean business. Like,
yep.
You mean business? Oh, we mean business. Now, Sonny, we got a coach that has balls. And unlike you better run for the hills, squirrel, because there's nowhere to run on this battlefield. It's either you better run or you'll die.
And damn right. Die. And you know what? Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have that mobility, that escapability that made him the great player he used to be. He can't move like that anymore. And I'll tell you what, I saw a clip from them in training camp where, dude, it wasn't like even TJ Watt or somebody. It was like some no-name guy just blew right by their left tackle, and Rodgers was livid. And I was like, "Oh, is this the left tackle that everybody cried because New England traded ahead of us to get?"
What?
That guy looked like absolute trash. He looked like an absolute turnstile. I think Broderick Jones is a bum for a left tackle, and I think our pass rush is going to feast all day long. I'm fully expecting 4 or 5 sacks of Aaron Rodgers in that game.
Try 6. Let's make it 6. 6 for
I'll
6.
take that.
6 for 6. Aaron Rodgers will be flat on his back 6 times, and the only thing they're gonna have to do is carry him off the field after the third quarter. He'll be like, they'll have to carry him off the field because he's got nowhere to go. I don't think Pittsburgh's got a chance. They got no running backs, no team, no nothing. They got no players. All they got is rookies. And what do we got? We got men with dignity, men with honor and courage. We got three out of the greatest captains out there, and they're gonna tell us how we're gonna play. We're gonna play smart. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna knock them down. First hand, first come, first serve. And just like they all say in the real world, hey Rodgers, just remember these words. You're not gonna be able to fit in this town anymore because after we're done with you, they're gonna have to scrape the body parts and send his ass packing back to Pittsburgh in a one-way ticket called "Get out the tow truck." Oops. Yeah, he's gonna be flat and he'll be done by the end of the day. So expect a 42-0 blowout. But when we play Buffalo, expect a dogfight, a big dogfight. I'm gonna make it prediction loud and clear.
Absolutely, man.
24. And you can guarantee it. Put it in writing. So how you been, Rickie?
I'm gonna. Good, man. Good. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Having a good day today.
Hey, business is business, but always remember, candy is dandy, but liquor is thicker. Let's go get that
Right
win.
on.
Come next Sunday, let's go get them.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for calling in, Beast. I appreciate you, man. And hell yeah, a week from now, we're gonna let go on Aaron Rodgers, and it's gonna be just like that song by Testament. It's gonna be a trial by fire, baby. Yeah, Beast is fired up. I'm fired up. Hopefully, everybody is fired up. I'm so ready for. I am so ready for this first game to get here. I just don't even know what to do with myself. Real quick, everybody, a quick reminder.
Listen up, all you incredible people out there looking at your. Listen up, all you incredible people out there looking at your computers, looking at your phones. Make sure you like and subscribe to Rickie New York, baby. JETS. Yes.
That's right. That's how we need to be. We need to be fired up just like that. Because one more time, Jets football is back. Winning Jets football is back. And 1 week from now, we are going to be 1-0 when we hand Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers their first loss of the year. Because we've got Aaron Glenn. And we are the New York Jets. And we're built for this shit. Thank you to everybody for joining me tonight. I appreciate all of you so much. I'm going to cut this one a little bit short tonight because I got 2 different fantasy drafts to do tomorrow and working on the studio this past week. I worked on it yesterday until I was ready to drop. Passed out, had heat stroke, was feeling really sick. Ended up sleeping until like 3:45 in the morning. And I woke up at 3:45 in the morning, started working again. And about 10:30 this morning, I finally finished the very last of the repairs and got the studio all put back together and in order. It's been a long recovery from that hurricane last year, but finally I have everything back where it's supposed to be. And everything is right in the world. We've got Aaron Glenn. Real Jets football is back. Florida State won today. I'm in a good mood. It's all positive right now, and I can't wait for next week. Next show will be today. Will be this Thursday at 8 p.m. I hope to see all you there. And until then, everybody have a great night and go Jets.